Hey guys, Gina back with another collections video. Today we're talking about vintage Halloween records. This is my ultimate favorite thing to collect. I love going to estate sales and thrift stores and yard sales and rummaging through all of the hundreds of thousands of records to eventually find that one Halloween record in the mix. And there always seems to be a lot of Christmas, a lot of musicals, a lot of Kenny Rogers, I don't know why, a lot of Barbra Streisand. Like, those are the things I come across the most. But every once in a while, I'll be thumbing through there and, oh, there's a Halloween record! And hopefully it's not Thrilling Chilling Sounds of Haunted House, because that is the one that you will come across the most. I guarantee it. So when you do come across something that's unusual and different and something that maybe you've had your eye on eBay for a while, but you haven't pulled the trigger because you're hoping to find it out in the wild, then that's the awesome time where you get to take that prize home and you get to put it on your record player and listen to the awesome, fun, musical screams or whatever it is that you found. So today's theme is going to be vinyl Halloween records that make you wanna move. These vinyl records are ones that have music to them, parodies, ballads, all of that fun stuff where they're just records full of fun songs. And today, let's start with the one, the only, the classic, the Monster Mash. Now, for those of you who are vinyl aficionados, you realize right away that this is a reproduction. And the reason why is because there are certain records that I vow not to buy online, and that as an original, I want to find it out in the wild. Now, if I'm 89 years old and I still haven't, maybe if eBay's around, I'll go on there and I'll finally click buy, but by then it's probably gonna be like $1,000 because it's gonna be 100 years old. But I did end up picking up this remake that they came out with in 19, oh my gosh, when was the last time it was 19? 2015. Oh my gosh. So I did pick up this one, and I think it actually is a fun, yes it is, it's a fun color record too. So I'll show you guys that. Ooh, look at that. Can you guys see how beautiful that is? Now, I was told that colored vinyl records warp a little bit easier than the black ones. So if you guys know anything about that, I would love to know, because I did pick this one up and it is beautiful and it plays fine. But this is a classic Monster Mash. Now, everybody knows the Monster Mash. It's one of the top 10 most played songs during Halloween time, along with Thriller and Ghostbusters and This Is Halloween. So yeah, so the Monster Mash, but the Monster Mash is a song, it never gets old to me. I love it so much. And there's a lot of really fun songs on this record. If you guys want, there's people who have recorded the album and put it on YouTube, so you can go over there and click those and play it and listen through the whole album. I definitely recommend this as one for your library. If you're into collecting Halloween music, you can't go wrong with the good old Bobby Boris Pickett and his Crypt Kickers. So keeping in that same thing about wanting to buy something, but I haven't found it out in the wild yet. But this is Zachary, and this is the Monster Gallery. Now, John Zachary, he was just like, you know, Bobby Boris Pickett. He had a whole bunch of fun Halloween parody records, and he does a lot of funny voices. He does a lot of laughing in his songs. But yeah, there's some really great, oh, there's a picture of him right there. What a character, man. I would have loved to grown up in the 60s when all of this came out. But the reason why I picked this one up is look at that art. There's so much going on in all of these pictures. It's like a seek and find. It's like, how much stuff can you see? And what's cool is, I'll read you guys this. The 1963 release from the Cool Ghoul, complete with its horrifyingly rare cover art inked by Mad Magazine, Jack Davis. And this is a limited edition, 1000 in green and orange pumpkin vinyl. So this one is green and orange. And that was probably the big draw for me. And I was like, oh, I want to have colored vinyl. But yeah, there's so many fun songs on this one too. The Coolest Little Monster, Wicked Thought, Ghoul View commercial. So it's just a bunch of ballads and songs and parodies and spoken word things, but it's definitely a fun record. This next record, I think, was an eBay purchase. Back in the day when I first started collecting records, I was super excited and I was like, ooh, eBay, they have everything. And then, you know, something comes on there and it's a really good price, I was buying it. But this is Ghouls Night Out, and it still has a shrink on there. And part of me is thinking somebody put the shrink on there. This doesn't look like regular shrink you get when you, buy a record, but who knows? It could still be original. The record itself is in really good condition. But this is another really funny parody, spoken word, all kinds of songs. And listen to some of these names that people have. So it's got The Cave by Gary Spider Webb. And then you've got Mandrake, and that's the Vampire's Ball. That's actually a popular song that they play on Halloween radio too. The Thunderbirds, the Executioners, Curtis and the Creepers. I want to be in that band. But oh, What's It? The Monster. But just look at that. They got Swamp Thing and a zombie and the Mummy Wolfman. This one doesn't have a year on it, but I'm assuming it's 60s and 70s as well. And there is a volume 2, so I'm definitely going to keep my eyes peeled out for that one. Did you guys know that they have the whole complete series of the Addams Family on Amazon Prime now? That's about as much TV as I've been getting in these days. It's just little episodes here and there, so it's been fun. We did a Munsters marathon a couple years ago when I think they put that on Netflix. So it was kind of cool to see that Amazon had put the Addams Family, the old black and white one, on there, because I love the Addams Family too. And so this one I actually got from a record store. That is another thing that I like to do, is I like, whenever I travel, I always, you know, take a couple hours and I go to all the different record shops that they have. Now I'm gonna start going to thrift stores, although the thing with thrift stores is it's a lot, well, depending on what you get, it's a lot harder to take that stuff back with you, especially if you fly. If you drive, you have a little bit more room in the trunk, hopefully. You know, don't pack as many clothes, or, you know, drop your clothes off at Goodwill and take the Halloween stuff instead. But anyway, so I got this at a local record shop. It's called Atomic Records here in Burbank. If you're local to Southern California, it's a really great place to go. They have so many records in that place, but every once in a while, they will have a Halloween record. Now this one, the guy hadn't even put out in the showroom floor yet, and he goes, well, I got one, but it's kind of in bad condition, and I'll sell it to you for $5. And I was like, okay, $5, it's not that big a deal. But he said it was scratched and stuff like that, but you know, it actually plays pretty well. But it has the music from the Munsters, the Addams Family, and then a whole bunch of them. Bewitched, Frankenstein, King Kong, Mummy, Dracula. There's a whole list of songs right there. You can also hear some of the songs on YouTube. Most of these records people have downloaded and put on YouTube, which is awesome because I don't always have time to pull out the record player, even though that's my favorite way to listen to them. But you can always pull up YouTube because it's on your phone, your device, whatever, and listen to the old goodies. I have 3 more records for you. This next record is one that I love because I love when people pretend to be like monsters and villains and whoever, and then they sing in that voice. So this right here is Monsters. Now I looked this up before I started talking about it. This came out in 1977. Look at that guy. So they created a whole band right here. They created a whole band. See this shine. Look at the Wolfman. Some kind of Frankenstein, the Mummy, and Dracula. And it looked like CD Trader for $24.99. Now, I don't think I bought that. I think they had a half off day, which was awesome because who doesn't want to get half off something? So I probably cleaned them all out of their Halloween records. Now, CD Trader is here in Southern California. I think it's off of Ventura. in Encino, maybe, if that sounds right. I don't know if they're still there or not, but that's where I got this one from. And this is H&L Records, but this is awesome. This has like disco and parody songs, so, you know, gimme good lovin'. And gosh, there's so, I mean, if you were to listen, you go, oh, I recognize that song, but yet the words are different. So this is a really fun one. If you like 70s music, garage band style, that's about the best I can explain this one. This next record is so much fun. From beginning to end, it is like a fun Halloween party, dance, crazy, silly songs. The whole thing is just so awesome. It is Monster Rally, and the songs are fantastic, and so is the artwork. It's like another one of those seek and find. There's just so much on there. You could just stare at this artwork for hours. You even got a little mouse on a skull back there. But this is Hans Conrad and Alice Pierce, The Creatures. And you see that orchestrated, conducted by Frankenstein. Do you think Frankenstein really conducted it? Just kidding. But yeah, it's got Monster Rally, Flying Saucer, the Mostly Ghostly, Purple People Eater. So many awesome songs on here. It is a blast. And if you have kids, your kids will really like this record too. It's got silly noises and it's just full of fun Halloween theming in the songs, I guess. Now, I typically don't try to buy records if they have any kind of writing or names written on them, but for this particular record, I made an exception because it says property of J.M. Davis. Now, if any of you guys are Garfield fans, you'll know that Jim Davis was the creator of Garfield. I love Garfield. That's another thing I collected as a kid. And I would just like to think that maybe Jim Davis's mom back in the day threw this record out at a yard sale or who knows. And then I just happened to come across it one day and I found it. So in my little imagination, this was Garfield's dad's record. This is another one of those records that I highly recommend you have in your Halloween library. And for the last record in this series, I have Monster Dance Party. Very weird, but very danceable, it says, and that is true. Do you guys know the song? Riboflavin, non-carbonated, polyunsaturated blood. That one is in here. That song comes on a lot of the vintage Monster Mash, like if you put Pandora on, that one comes on there a lot, but that one's really good. But they've got Phantom of the Go-Go, Monster Dance Party, the Werewolf Watusi. Are you guys recognizing some of this? A Monster Swim. This is great. And a lot of these records also have their own version of the Monster Mash. So if the Monster Mash is something that you enjoy, you will really like this too. Look at these guys. I had to laugh because I bought this record a long time ago, and as you can see, I paid a pretty penny for it, so this must have been a birthday present, I think. But I always took in records to exchange so I could get some of the price off or whatever, but this one, they sold it to me for $65. So I'm definitely thinking this was a Valentine's Day or a birthday or something, but it's punched right here. If you can see, it says promo. And I asked the guy at the counter and I said, why is it punched promo? And the guy said, because it was a promo. Really? Do you guys hate when people answer you like that? Like, oh, really? Like, come on, give me a little bit more credit here. Like, okay, but like, what was a promo back in the day and stuff like that? So he said that chances are this was probably sent to a DJ or record label guy, someone, and then they, you know, so they could listen to it and put it on the radio or whatever it was, and kind of as a like a sample or something like that. So I said, that's a much better answer. Thank you, mister. But yeah, so this is Capitol Records. And what's cool about that is I actually went to school right by Capitol Records, and I worked for a pizzeria right there, and these guys from Capitol Records were coming all the time, and they said that they would give me a tour, and I ended up graduating, and I ended up getting a different job and moving from that location. So I never got to tour Capitol Records, but man, I should have taken them up on that offer a little bit sooner. But that would have been cool to go on Capitol Records and tour around and stuff like that. So you know that this was a good quality record. It's coming from Capitol Records. Not that the other ones aren't, but you know that this was probably pressed really well and on some good legit vinyl. If you guys saw my other vinyl record video, you would have heard me talk about how I really like to find the records still in shrink or brand new, and I know that's really difficult to come by, but it does happen every so often. And if you guys really, really want them like that, then definitely check out eBay and put new, sealed, near mint, all of that kind of stuff, because most of those records will still be like that. But sometimes when you're out in the wild, you'll get them where the corner is cut off or clipped or something like that. What I've been told is that that typically means that this is something that they were selling and then they took it off the shelves and then they were supposed to dispose of it somehow, but maybe they just cut the corner so they wouldn't sell it. It was like merchandise that you couldn't resell somewhere, so then they'd have to donate it or get rid of it or throw it away, and then that's how that happened. And then of course the promo, that was something that was sent to somebody to promote it basically. But yeah, so there is that collection of records. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys will go and find some of those records if you haven't listened to them yet on YouTube. Click them, have a great time, throw a dance party, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.